The Bullhorn is all things regarding the Lethbridge Bulls of the Western Canadian Baseball League. The Bullhorn has the latest news on the team, interviews with coaches and players, signings, game recaps, and updates on all the events happening at Spit Stadium. The Bullhorn is your place for all things baseball in Lethbridge. Get your horns up for the Bullhorn, the Lethbridge Bulls baseball reports.
All right, the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls baseball report up and running on Rogers TV and on the newly rebranded Maple Leaf Baseball Network's YouTube channel. Special show today. We got a new segment. We'll get to that in half a second. But first off, Carlin and Cardell Dick, player and coach, coming to join us today. A couple of brothers talking about the relationship on and off the field and what to expect for the 2026 season. And Cardell gives us a firsthand account of the situation Jimmy Belanger got himself in. Bulls pitcher Jimmy Belanger with a can of paint, some frosted tips a few years back. So it's always fun to catch up with those guys. Then we have Ian Wilson from Alberta and Saskatchewan Dugout Stories joining in on the show today to talk about the WCBL in general, how he sees the league progressing in the future, and his baseball nerddom, I guess you could say. So thanks to Ian Wilson for jumping in and taking some time out of his busy schedule. Then we have a brand new segment today, the Lethbridge Bulls junior reporter. We got a pair of junior reporters going to join us today. One's going to be interviewing Carlin Dick, the Lethbridge Bulls head coach, and the other's going to be interviewing Kvame, team president and general manager. So that should be a lot of fun. And then we of course will have Kvame to join us for Kevin's Corner to talk about Save on Foods Little League Night. So we'll get going here with Carlin and Cardell Dick on the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls baseball report on Rogers TV and the Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel. Involved in this eventually. Welcome back to Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls baseball report up on Rogers TV and the Lethbridge Bulls YouTube channel. Joined today by another set of brothers be suiting up for the Bulls this summer. Assistant coach Carlin Dick and his much better looking and smarter younger brother Cardell. How you doing, boys?
Doing good, thanks.
Cardell, you're just about ready to head off to school again down in Nebraska. What are you looking forward to in the college season coming up?
Just looking forward to getting the season started. We're opening up in Arizona, so that'll be pretty cool, playing some good teams down there. Looking forward to get going.
Carlin, when I heard that your brother was coming here this summer to play for the Bulls again after a year away, the first thing that came to my mind was, how are you two going to coexist with you being a coach? Because you guys were teammates a couple of years back, but now with you being a quote unquote coach on the team, and then him being a wily old vet, how's that going to work out?
I think it'll work out fine. Like, we have a pretty good relationship together, and when he hits in the wintertime, I'm his quote unquote coach while we're hitting in the wintertime, so nothing will really change come summertime.
Cardell, you don't pay much attention to what your brother tells you for when you're hitting, do you?
No, not at all. No, I do a little bit. No, Carlin and I work really hard when I come back, and we've always worked together, even when we were both playing, hitting together. So nothing's changed much on that point.
I still try and take a few swings here and there, but
yeah, I imagine that's going really well for you. Carlin, now that you've been a coach for about a year and a half now with the Longhorns and Lethbridge, then you were with the Bulls last summer, what's something that you catch yourself saying that you really hated your coaches saying to you when you were playing?
I don't know if there's anything specific, but I probably actively try and avoid saying things that I hated being told when I was a player too. I can't think of anything specific off the top of my head, but I'd probably say some things that I would have hated to hear as a player.
Cardell, can you chime in on that? What's something you hate hearing? Like if he was to chime in on something that you like, okay, I'd hit it the other way or whatever, some useless baseball jargon that comes out of coaches sometimes.
Something like that, see more pitches or stuff like that, and just I don't know. I haven't. I'll have to wait and see this summer to see if he says anything that pisses me off after games.
We'll have to like redo this in like July and see if he comes up with any.
Okay, here's what really pissed me off. Now
and we'll just a minute long.
Really Cardell, there was a well-documented little situation that Jimmy Belanger was involved in when you guys were a little bit younger on the family farm back then. Do you fill us in, because you were like, there was secondhand news from Carlin. What exactly happened with Jimmy Belanger and the can of paint?
Oh, okay, yeah. So pretty much anybody in Alberta who knew me and I told them about Jimmy has heard this story. And so when he came to Alberta, this was sort of the way everybody knew him. So During the summer of 2020, we worked all summer on our family farm, and we were painting and rebuilding the fence around a couple of fields, and it was pretty boring work, I have to tell you. Like we had to try and kill some time, but so one day we're just painting the fence with outdoor weatherproof white paint, and I just hear Jimmy, he's talking, and he goes, "You know what I want right now?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Frosted tips." And I go, "That's a stupid idea. You should never get frosted tips." And then I didn't think anything of it, and I'm still painting the fence, and then all I hear is sploosh, and I turn around, and his head is dunked in the bucket of weatherproof paint.
I didn't know Jim that well last year when he was kind of telling me the story, but now that I know him a little bit better, it makes a lot of sense now.
Oh, yeah.
It all kind of makes a ton of sense now with old Jimmy.
Yeah.
Whether the paint to damage his brain a little bit more, who knows? But it's just kind of funny to hear that. Carlin, you're going to have your brother going around, and you're you know what to expect from him, and you want him to do well, obviously. Will there be a little bit more of a push or a pullback, or what's your approach going to be with your brother this summer? Is it going to be just, I'm not going to say a word because he knows, or what's going to be your approach this summer?
Yeah, I think it'll be different. I think my approach will be kind of pushing him. I don't know if it'll be as much on the baseball side, but he's been here. He's played 2 years. This will be year 3, like pushing him more on the leadership side and showing the guys in this locker room that haven't been here as many times or as long, that the right way to do things and how to go about their business the right way. I think the baseball side will take care of itself.
That's one thing, Cardell. Like I pretend to umpire sometimes. And I noticed that like catchers, you have to be leaders on the field a lot, and you see the game differently than everybody else. And what's something that you is tough for you? Are you a go-to guy? You're rah, or you're a quiet guy, or like when do you know to go and talk to your pitcher? Like when you just what's your approach to when it comes to handling your pitching staff?
Just sort of being able to get to know each guy individually and sort of figuring out what makes them tick, what works for them, sort of what I need to, if it's a guy who needs to get fired up or a guy I need to slow down with, and just sort of gauging that throughout the game, depending on the guy they are, whether I need to go out there or just let them roll. Like some guys, you go out there and they'll just, no, they don't want anything to do with you. Like they don't want you out there. Like they just want to be left alone. And then there's other guys who need a little bit of help sometimes. So just gauging that.
I'll ask you this, Carlin. I want Cardell to kind of elaborate on that. But there's some guys who think that they don't need talking to when they really do.
Yeah.
How do you guys how do you approach that as a coach and a catcher? Dude, you're not doing anything. Like it's not, yeah, I got it. When you can see they don't got it. What do you do with that?
Yeah, I think it's more of a off the field conversation at that point. Like if you're trying to go out there and they don't want anything to do with you, but you feel like they need to have something said to them, or they need something to help them keep going. Like I think that needs to be a batting practice talk or somewhere where the game's not going on, because you're not going to have a little intervention on the mound if there's going to be some fire in that intervention.
I think that would be the best time to do it.
Might be.
YouTube sensation.
Oh, yeah, it could be. Bullhorn sensation. Yeah.
I don't see what could possibly go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Cardell, I know you guys when you played in Vauxhall, finally got the Vauxhall reference in here. You have to stay away from that. You guys started wearing the headsets and everything else, and they were calling the pitches for you. Did you like that as a young guy, learning to call the game a little bit, or you're like, okay, just fastball, curveball, change up, slider, whatever? What do you like better?
Definitely as a high school catcher and sort of learning the game and learning how to call a game. I liked that a lot, especially with Les. And it's not like
that's the first Les McTavish reference of the 2026 edition of the Bullhorn.
And we're only 8 days in.
No, yeah, I think it helped a lot. But now it sort of makes it easier, like on the college standpoint. Like we have our wristband game day, so I don't even have to think about, like sometimes I'll be thinking like, hey, I would call this pitch here. And our coaches in Omaha are really good with, like, I can go talk to them after and be like, I think we should have thrown this or anything like that. But I think definitely as a high school young catcher, like being assisted with calling pitches is very helpful.
If Carlin was calling pitches this summer for the Bulls, would you just shake him off automatically?
Yeah.
The complete opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Do the old, what was it, Costanza? Just do the opposite.
Yeah, or what's the Bull Durham when he wants to call pitch, and the pitcher shakes it off, and he says, "Here it comes."
Here it comes. Speak kindly of me. It's you guys are going to have a lot of fun, and like, is it going to be good for your parents to come up and watch and have you like? Obviously, when you played together a couple of years ago, it was a lot of fun. But it's still good for your parents to come out here.
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely. Yeah.
Anytime that we're in the same place at once, they tend to be around. So
let's go back a few years, and you were just a young catcher, a phenom back then, 2023, and you caught the game that Javier De Alejandro had the no-hitter. What was that like, and were you calling the pitches, or was Javi in charge that night, or who was actually in charge that night? And I'm sure it wasn't Carlin. But.
No, it was me. Like, I remember we just got into a groove, me and Javi, and I don't think he shook me out. Like, after the first couple innings, he just was saying yes to everything. Like, whatever I put down, he was throwing. And he was throwing it well. Like, every pitch was working, and I barely had to think about anything. It's just I could call whatever I wanted to, and he would get the guy out.
I think you hit a home run that night too, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. What did you do that night, Carlin?
Can't even remember. I might have been sitting on the bench eating seeds. I don't even know.
I'm not trying to.
No, I can't. I don't know. I could have been in right field. I could have been at first, or I could have been chewing seeds on the bench.
Claire Hout was at first.
I might have been in the outfield.
Yeah,
I think you were. I remember after I hit the home run, you were hitting right behind me.
Yeah,
and I walked up and I said, "Your turn."
Yeah, that might have been.
Was that the first no-hitter you were involved in?
No. In Vauxhall, there was for the Bulls, yeah, but that was the first complete game no-hitter, one pitcher.
Oh, you guys have those 5
innings. Or it was 7 innings, and we had 3 guys throw. But
no, that's funny. Okay, let's have some fun here. Arm wrestling match. Who wins?
Depends on one arm.
Yeah, right arm. I'm
Cardell win the right arm. I'll win left arm.
Can't get a straight answer out of you ever. There's always but.
No, well, it depends. He's right arm dominant. I'm left arm dominant.
Day games or night games? What do you like better?
Night games.
Night games.
Dugouts on when you're not playing or out in the bullpen? Where do you want to hang out?
Dugout.
Out in the bullpen.
I'd expect that from you. You're not paying attention one bit out there. Yeah.
Well, just because if it gets too far a runaway, I could maybe pitch.
You came in a few times in your illustrious WCBL career, came out of the pen. You had a 0 ERA 1 year, didn't you?
I caught for him one time.
Yeah,
he came out.
That did happen
against Fort Mac, I think.
Something like that.
On the road, nap or a Netflix on your phone?
Netflix.
Yeah, probably Netflix.
Nap at all?
Sometimes if we get tired enough.
Depends.
Like if you're coming home at 4 a.m, then you're probably napping.
Yeah.
Or just sleeping at that point.
Least favorite place to play, not WCBL wide, but just baseball wide. Because I know what you would say, and I'm going to get sued by the time you keep saying that, but whatever. Least favorite place to play baseball you've ever played?
Ever played? Probably Brooks.
Mine's not going to be that. Mine's probably, I didn't like playing in Moorhead State, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Fence was like 40 feet high in right field and 280 feet to the fence, and was like
40 feet high. That's like 8 of you.
10.
Did you guys ever play together before? Before you played
when
here?
We were
like way young. Like he was 5 and I was 8.
Yeah,
and I would play up in his 10U baseball.
Yeah,
that was the last time.
And he played here, and then that was it.
That was it.
Let's get you guys out of here. You guys got a really busy schedule ahead.
Really
I'm very sure before you, Cardell, you take off, and I don't know what it is you do all day, but
I go to school.
Twiddle his thumbs.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to the most this season coming up? Playing you coaching the Bulls, and then you playing for the Bulls.
Go ahead.
You go first.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking forward to getting the guys back here. Like we have a lot of returning guys coming back this year, and trying to make another run in the playoffs and at a championship.
Yeah, same thing. I'm looking forward to playing well and hopefully getting deep into the playoffs and winning a championship, and also just playing with all the guys. Like there's a lot of Vauxhall guys coming back and guys I've played with. So that'll be a lot of fun playing with all of them.
Yeah, gotta change the name of the team, I think. But whatever. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for joining us on the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report. Look forward to seeing you guys back here in see you all the time, but seeing you back here in May for the Bulls season.
Yep.
You're watching the Lethbridge Bulls, the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls baseball report on Rogers TV and the Bulls YouTube channel.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Good. It'll be up on the 28th.
I'll forget that. I'll just see it on Instagram or Twitter. It's actually called.
All right, welcome back to Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls baseball report up on Rogers TV and the Maple Leaf Baseball Network's YouTube channel. Joined today by Ian Wilson from Alberta and Saskatchewan Dugout Stories. I stuck that one in there for you. I know that has to get out there. Alberta Dugout Stories has been around for a long time, and Saskatchewan Dugout Stories a couple of years now. Ian, actually, I'm always interested to hear these stories about how you guys got going, how you and Joe McFarland got the Alberta Dugout Stories going. And I think people, because the way your material goes out and your content goes out, it just helps baseball throughout. So how did you guys get that going, and what was who was the actual brainchild behind the whole thing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for the kind words on that. We are a two-headed monster, like through and through. So Joe McFarland, I met him playing slow pitch in Calgary, and we're both media guys. I used to work at the Calgary Sun for 10 years as a news reporter, assistant city editor, business editor. Joe has a radio background. He'd been on the radio for, I don't know how far too long, and including some time in Medicine Hat. I think he's got some connections down in Lethbridge there. And yeah, we played slow pitch, and just like any good idea, after a game, pitchers of beer are flowing, and we're talking about baseball in Alberta specifically, and talking about the history of the game in Alberta and how amazing the history is with the Pacific Coast League years, Calgary Cannons, Edmonton Trappers, talking about the Pioneer League days with the, Medicine Hat Blue Jays and Lethbridge Dodgers, Expos, and Diamondbacks, I think was the other.
Black Diamonds, yeah.
Black Diamonds, yes. Thank you. Yeah. And
it's kind of a dirty word around here because when they disappear in the middle of the night, but yeah, it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. But and then we really did kind of focus on the history at first. We were just intrigued with that, but we also noticed that there was a gap in media coverage, sports media coverage of baseball in Alberta. And after we started and got to know the baseball scene a little bit, obviously got to know the Western Canadian Baseball League, and now I'm the media coordinator for that league. But we got to know that brand of baseball, and we're like, this is good baseball. This is good stuff. It's not just about the history of the game in Alberta. We've got a vibrant scene here. And right as we were kind of coming on board, a fellow by the name of Michael Soroka started pitching in the major leagues, had a really good rookie year. So there's some direct connections there. We've, of course, seen lots of Alberta, Saskatchewan athletes get drafted into the major leagues since and before that. And yeah, we just kind of found a niche, I think, where people were interested in the stories we were telling, and we were kind of happy to write them and learn more about baseball in the process.
You talk about the Cannons and the Trappers, and then they've both been gone for quite a few years now. And I listened to your guys' podcast around this time last year when they finally put the wrecking ball to Foothill Stadium, and it was and you guys made a lot of good points. Has WCBL? I mean, it's not AAA baseball, obviously. You're not going. Well, you might get the guys that advance to that level one day, but has the WCBL more than filled the void for losing professional baseball in Western Canada? I know there's a team out in Vancouver, but has WCBL filled that void at a pretty good level to make sure there's still a high level baseball competition around the province? Absolutely.
I think it has. And I think, we would get, when we started doing stories, we would get so many people say, oh man, I miss those BCL days. I really miss the Cannons. And I get it. Like, you get insane pros. You get Edgar Martinez coming through, and Tino Martinez, and, all these future pros, Ron Kittle going through Edmonton. And like, we were spoiled with that product. But it just wasn't sustainable. Like, it wasn't going to last. Since then, there's been a reorg of minor league baseball. And the level of WCBL baseball is very good. It's equivalent to minor league ball, probably rookie level to maybe is up to AA, I'd say. And I think, it's not just about, which players are coming through and which ones are going to the majors. I think now through the WCBL, baseball is actually more connected to the communities they're in. These aren't just all American imports and some hot prospect from the Dominican or Japan. These are a lot of local kids playing on the team. So we're highlighting and watching and nurturing and growing local talent. And I think that's one thing too that is not necessarily fully recognized, is that the level of baseball player, I would argue now, through all the academies and just through all the nurturing of baseball in Alberta and Saskatchewan, the talent level for the ball players now is much better, I would argue, than it was in those Cannon, Strappers, Pioneer League days.
It definitely is. Like the guys that play, and now you get guys that stick around WCBL. They can get, like, we got Caleb Haney coming back for his fifth year. Like he took the year off and he played as an underage. And Carter Clarehouse been around here for quite a few years. I think he's going on his 12th or 13th year in this league, it seems. But you just get guys, and like in the minor leagues, you have guys that come and go during the season, and you'll never see them again. And you can kind of build a pretty good fan base with these guys that return. And like you were saying, they become part of the community a little bit more than your minor league guy was, because they would sleep all day and then they come to the ballpark and leave, and then they're on the road for these long trips, where these guys come in and they're part of the community and help minor and little league and minor baseball grow a little bit. And I think it can only help baseball in every community.
Absolutely. And I think, everyone would love to say, hey, we had Andre Dawson come through here, or the equivalent of it now, right? But there, it's just, the game has changed. It's just a different product now. Now you can look at Major League Baseball and you can point to Michael Soroka. Oh, hey, he's signed on with the Diamondbacks. I can watch him in the rotation every fifth day. That's a Calgary guy, right? And you can look at Eric Sabrowski, who used to play in the Western Canadian Baseball League with the Edmonton Prospects, and you could look at him play in the playoffs against your Yankees. Sorry, and it's insane. It's amazing to watch those guys. And it may feel like there's fewer of them, but we'll see what the future holds. There could be much more in the pipeline, so to speak.
Since the rebrand of WCBL from WNBL back in 2019, just in that short 7-year span, just the 2026 season's upon us, a lot has changed. I mean, it's gotten like, social media is a huge thing now, and streaming's a thing now, and the kids they all have, I don't want to say have a brand, but they have a brand, and they want to be represented a certain way. What's some other things that you've noticed with the players and the coaches and the teams right across the board that's changed a lot with your role with the league and with the Alberta and Saskatchewan Dugout stories?
Oh, how much time do you have? Yeah. A few things happened in the world since 2019, right?
Yeah.
and
just this weekend, actually, but we won't get into that. But
yeah. No, politics aside, I just mean the world, and you're right. I think each, from my media days, where everything would kind of flow through mainstream media. So you'd have your sports section of the newspapers, you'd have sports talk radio, and to some extent, those things still exist. But now every team is its own brand. Every team within the WCBL, the league is its own brand on top of that. And you're right, every player is their own brand. They are trying to sell, maybe sell's the wrong word, but they're trying to promote what they are, what their brand is. Or are they a good teammate? Are they just the best hitter you've ever seen? Are they the best base stealer you've ever seen? Are they good in the community? All those things. And social media allows for that. And of course, there's loads of downsides with social media. We don't need to get fully into that. I think people are well aware of some of the risks and the harm.
If they're not, they just joined and they'll figure it out pretty soon.
Yeah. Hey, breaking news, right?
Yeah. Only on the Bullhorn. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. No, so I think those are some of the positives of the evolution of the media, in that you can be your own news show. You can be the Bullhorn, and it's not just the Bullhorn, but now you can take clips from it. And, when I say something super insightful in this great interview that we're doing, you can clip that, and you can radio me, and you can put it on social media, and away we go. Right. I mean, that's just, that's just the world we're in now. And I think I prefer not to brand it as either good or bad. It's how it is.
It's just part of it. There's nothing you can do to get away. Just you can't. It doesn't. I say this to guys around here all the time. It doesn't necessarily transcend into ticket sales right across the board, but it's just a necessary evil that you have to have, because you'll never know. I mean,
it's all part of it. It's all part of it. Yeah,
because I laugh at like with the Bulls social media. We don't know about Jack Kaliski, if he's coming back or not. He's thinking about pro ball opportunities, but his father is always first to like and share stuff. And Jack's dad isn't buying tickets anytime soon from San Antonio, Texas. So it's just one of those things you have to have. And it's a good thing to have, but it's just how it is. The league has grown with the since 2021. Obviously, you got Sylvan Lake to come in, and then Saskatoon's coming in, and there's always rumors about a future expansion, and then there's talk about teams that might be on their way out. Let's start on the positive end of things. Is the league in a good spot? And with the Saskatoons coming in, and the Sylvans, and obviously the powerhouse up the road, the dirty word around here, Okotoks, and then Medicine Hats, they've improved their game day. They're getting really great crowds. What's the state of the league in your opinion going into 2026?
Well, I think it's generally, and even beyond generally, I think it's in a very good spot. I think you had 2 summers ago, the 2024 season, where it was really firing on all cylinders, broke attendance records, and just were really sailing to new highs. That came down a little bit last year. We had some inclement weather. There were a few different factors with that in terms of attendance I'm talking about. Yeah. But no, I think the league's in a good spot. You've got 12 franchises now. You've got we're in Saskatoon, right? We're in the largest market in Saskatchewan, and Saskatoon's done a fantastic job, set a wins record last year. They're doing great things online, on social media. Few people have heard of Carter Beck. He's just, he continues to get a lot of attention as a prospect, and another homegrown kid, as we were talking about earlier. Okotoks is always strong. Like you're just getting, and Medicine Hat's established, Lethbridge is established, Sylvan Lake go to the final last year. Regina comes out of nowhere to kind of reassert themselves in the championship scene. And I just think you've got stable franchises. You've got a good product. I think we're in a good spot. And I think, like I said, we're in a business where we're weather dependent, which is part of the sales pitch, right? There's nothing quite like having a frothy beverage, cold beverage, and popcorn, hot dog, whatever your food of choice is, on a really nice sunny day in Alberta or Saskatchewan. And I think the facilities, we were talking about the state of the game earlier. The facilities in Alberta and Saskatchewan are amazing. They're as good as they've ever been, and they're only going to get better. Saskatoon has some upgrades planned. They're hosting the All-Star game this year. That'll be great. Okotoks has just added a new seating section to their stadium. They've got the Road to Okotoks event coming up mid-season. You've got a qualifier in Lethbridge with that event that's happening. Spitz Stadium is a great facility. Athletic Park, fantastic. Gulls Stadium. Like, I could just go through the stadiums, and they're fantastic. So it's a great place to watch a ball game and really connect with the game.
With the Blue Jays at the run that they had back in October, now it seems like 1,000 years ago now, but with the run they had, and that's something that we talk about around here, is to take advantage of that and really utilize their success and grow baseball a lot. And all of a sudden you had more kids watching the game that maybe normally wouldn't, or there was just more buzz around it for a longer period of time. And the Jays are Canada's team. Let's not, again, we have parcels of fans from every major league team around here, but it's Canada's team right across the board. When you guys do your articles and things like that, what importance do the Jays have? Do you notice a big uptick in your views and reads and stuff when the Jays were rolling back in October?
Yeah, I mean, their impact is undeniable. It's it is Canada's team. They've done a lot of things to foster that relationship across Canada, whether it's baseball camps for kids, instructional camps. They used to do the winter tour where they'd send players to Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Saskatoon, and the like. Vladdy's been out there. Jamie Campbell, Sportsnet analyst, is out in doing an Alberta tour 2 years ago, Saskatchewan last year. He's shotgunning a beer in Saskatoon, and that,
Yeah.
and just a big fan of the product and the game, and that's phenomenal. This my latest story on Saskatchewan Dugout Stories is actually based on an interview that Joe McFarland did for our podcast with Tyler Heineman, the backup catcher on the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And he's coming out to Weyburn and Swift Current next week to promote their fundraising dinners and speak to fans there. And that's always, he's coming with Jamie Campbell. That's always popular. The Jays will always sell. They're always popular. Yes, there's fans of other teams. I may be a Mariners fan. You might be a Yankees fan, but I think we can all appreciate the magic of that run last year. I mean, it just stepping out of whatever silo you're in terms of being a fan. That run in that World Series, the quality of the product of baseball was through the roof and captivating and heartbreaking and all of that good stuff, the best of baseball, really. And you will see absolutely a spike in the grassroots level in registrations for lower level baseball, for Little League, for softball, everything in between. It just grows the popularity of the game.
We spoke earlier about the demise of Foothill Stadium, and it's too bad that it happened. And it's what it is. I mean, I have my opinions with Calgary and with their sports. It's just, that's my own opinion. But do you think that the WCBL needs to be in Calgary and the Energy City Cactus Rats are going to be outside of Edmonton? Do you think that the league would be better served to be in downtown Calgary? Would something like if they were to give Ian Wilson $1 million that he could play and put a team somewhere, would somewhere like Airdrie be more of a destination, you think? Because then also you got an instant rivalry with Sylvan Lake, and in my opinion, then you'd have obviously with Okotoks. Is the absence of Calgary a big deal in your opinion?
That's a good question. And I guess I do flip-flop on that a bit. Like, as a Calgarian, I'd love to have something that's central Calgary. I mean, I'm also in South Calgary, so I'm a 15-minute drive to Siemens Stadium in Okotoks. And, whether they're a rival of the Bulls or not, you have to respect what they've done and the product that they've put out there, the quality of the facility, the quality of the baseball. So I guess no. I guess I'd lean towards no. You don't directly have to be in Calgary. I think you want to be around it. I think Okotoks definitely draws off of Calgary fans, baseball fans for sure. And I think, to your point, Airdrie, Cochrane, any of the kind of outlying cities around Calgary in the north end would make for a great rivalry for Okotoks and also for Sylvan Lake. So I don't think you have to be right in the city. There's also, I'm guessing, some more excessive costs in the city as opposed to right outside of it, especially if you get a community that's very supportive, as Okotoks was with the Dogs. So no, you don't have to be directly in the city. As a Calgarian, someone who lives here, does it make me sad that there's nothing directly in here? Does it make me sad that we lost Foothills Stadium, which at the time it was built, and Calgary is only 500,000 people? The baseball supporters of the day were lamenting that they only had one quality stadium in the city of Calgary. Yeah. Now, what do we have? What do we have here for facilities? And it's that makes me sad. That makes me we can do a better job as a city there, but it's it's a huge city, and there's obviously some competing priorities there politically and financially and everything else. So, like I said, I don't think you have to be directly in here, but I'd like to see it. Not necessarily WCBL, but I just mean like quality baseball. So
Well, there's the the franchises up in Edmonton proper has two now with the West Coast League team and how they're flourishing in that league. I don't know how sustainable that is, flying everybody in and out, but that's another story for another day. But the leagues, I think, as well, is in a good spot. We'll get you out of here too. You got a lot going on, but what do you see in the next 5 years? Like, what would you do, Ian Wilson, if you were given the keys to the Corvette to improve things? A couple of things that you would maybe say, okay, this has to happen to make the league a little bit better, to make it I don't want to say more competitive, because like you said earlier on, Regina came out of nowhere last year, and it seems like it's you get into the playoffs. Moose Jaw has been licking the jar a couple of years to get in there to win something, and so I don't think that there's a competitive imbalance. There are some lesser lights, obviously, but that's in every league or right across the country, no matter what sport. But what's a couple of things that you would like to see the league do to improve the product a little bit right across the board?
Well, I don't think there's too much that needs to be done in terms of the product on the field, in terms of the baseball players who are coming here. I think we've got a very competitive league, as you said. And, I do remember like after Okotoks comes off their three-peat, there is some whispers in some corners, oh, well, is this good for the league? We've got this one team dominating. And of course, these things go in cycles, then you get Regina, like you said, come out of nowhere to win the championship. I think Saskatoon, there's going to be a lot of hungry teams this season, right? Okotoks isn't just going to go away. They're not just going to be like, well, we won our three.
No, we gave it a shot.
Yeah. So Okotoks will be back. They'll be stronger than ever. A Medicine Hat is always there. Lethbridge is always good. You guys kind of under the radar last season, had a phenomenal year, and Levi Abbott obviously was lights out for you guys. And Sylvan Lake I don't think is going anywhere. Saskatoon, I don't think they're too happy about setting a wins record and then, the falling in the playoffs. So, and Moose Jaw just always kind of, they always are competitive as well. So in terms of competitiveness, I think we're in great shape. I think the league is fine. I think establishing a foothold in that Edmonton area would be key. That'd be high on my list. So hopefully everything goes smooth with the, we're getting some updates now with the Cactus Rats Stadium, and hopefully that goes off flawlessly, and we can get that stadium up and running and get fans there. And there are certain markets, I guess, where you'd like to see the attendance rise a bit. That's always the case, but it's tough. I've got younger kids, and summer hits, and I love being at the ballpark. My daughter loves baseball. My son does not. And, you're trying to get them down to the field and check it out. And for half the family, that's an easy sell. And for other part of it, maybe not so much. And on top of that, you're competing with Netflix and Crave and streaming things, and, every other event that comes up in the summer, camping. And so it's not like it's easy to just bring people to the ballpark, but I'd like to find ways to entice them there. And then just, overall, obviously I'm a media guy. I'd like to see the brand grow. I'd like to see it a little more recognized nationally. I'm not sure Eastern Canada really fully realizes how high quality of a league this is. And I think it is the best summer collegiate baseball league in the country. I don't even think it's particularly close. So I'd like to see that reputation grown and established further. It obviously helps when you get Jamie Campbell on the Blue Jays broadcasts talking about our league.
Yeah, we got our hats going out to Jamie Campbell.
Yeah, you should. You should. Yeah,
it's a thing.
It is. Yeah. So I think, there's always room for growth in those ways. But like I said, on the field, I think we've got a very good product, and I always I'm a fan too. I love this game, and I love coming into each season and just wondering how things are going to look. I'll look through the rosters before the season and have some ideas about things, but you never really know, right?
The last question, because I'm when I got the other podcast going on, and then I'm with the Bulls and everything else. And can you just watch a game, or is there always an angle going through your head, or can you just sometimes sit down, grab a beer, put your toes up, and just watch a game, or is it constantly thinking, okay, how can I use this for not for your benefit, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, and I usually I'm not a great photographer, but I will take my camera to games, and I like taking photos at games. So if I'm doing that, I'm not I'm focused on framing a good picture of a player. There's usually I try and get shots of as many of the players in the league as I can as they kind of come through. Usually I shoot mostly out of Okotoks because that's closest to home. And you kind of lose the moments of the game when you're doing it, or I do anyway. I'm not skilled enough to have my brain process both things at once. And then there are times, I guess it depends on how much of a working night it is and how much I'm there to do stories for the WCBL or for Dugout stories. And I think I have to be quite deliberate about being in the moment and just watching the game. It helps if for example, if my daughter, if it's a baseball night for her and she wants to go to a game afterward, and we can just pop into Siemens Stadium for the last half of the game. It helps if I'm with her and we're just, then I'm just being a dad and we're just watching the game, and she's curious and she's got questions. So yeah, I can, but I do have to turn things off. Went to a game in Medicine Hat last summer, and it was great. I had the field level seats. Greg Morrison was great about making sure I had a good spot to sit there. That was my birthday game, so I was turned everything off, and I had a blast. It was a Regina Medicine Hat game, and the sight lines were great. I had a couple beer with the family, and had the mascots came by, and just all the fun stuff with baseball. So yeah, it's possible to do it, but some nights my mind is elsewhere.
Those field level seats in Medicine Hat are fantastic. I quite like when I used to umpire in the league there, and they're a little close at times, and guys would have the seventh inning Bud Light umpires come on a little bit more, but there's
a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot. So it's a great atmosphere up there in Medicine Hat, and every team should take a look at what Greg's doing up there for sure. So, Ian, tell everybody where they can read all your read and hear about you and everything going on, and we'll get you out of here and we'll get back into the baseball world of things.
Yeah, thanks again for having me today, and great to talk to you and talk to the baseball fans out there. We're on AlbertaDugoutStories.com, SaskatchewanDugoutStories.com. You can read league news. A lot of my stuff is there at WCBLBaseball.com. And we're on all the socials, both in terms of the league as well as Dugout Stories. We're on Twitter, X, whatever it's called these days, and we're on, we've got the podcast as well for Dugout Stories, Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast, on all your listening platforms. So on Facebook, you name it. If it's out there, we're on it.
So you don't sleep either?
I try to. I don't sleep well, but I try to.
I know all about that. No, Ian, thanks very much for joining us. And once the season gets a little bit closer, we'll have to do this face to face and get things going and get you down for that the qualifier here and the opener and the CCBC World Series. But thanks very much for joining us here on the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report on Rogers TV and on the Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel.
This summer, there's only one place to be, and that's Spitz Stadium.
You can sit here. Or here. You can sit here. Or here. Or even here.
But not here. Get your tickets now at bullsbaseball.com and come experience Bulls baseball all summer long. It's going to be unbelievable.
YouTube channel. Ian this one.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good guy. Ready to go?
Good to go.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Bullhorn, the Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report up on Rogers TV and the newly branded Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel. Joined once again for Kevin's Corner by Bulls President and General Manager Kevin Kvame. Kevin, we just got back from the Little League meetings in Calgary over the weekend, so I thought no better place to kick off Kevin's Corner than talking about some Little League baseball and Little League night that we're going to be having here at Spitz Stadium again on June the 6th when the Bulls take on the Sylvan Lake Gulls on a Saturday night.
Yeah, that's usually a special night where we can get a lot of the Little Leaguers to come out and enjoy the game and celebrate baseball. Hopefully we can do some unique and special things again this year, and it's great to have a partner like Save-On come on with that game, and what a community partner they've been for a long time. And so little leaguers come into the park courtesy of them, and you know, I think they feed them some hot dogs and some pop at the same time. So all in all, a win for everybody.
I know the lineup is the kids get here early and they try to go back for second and thirds, but the Diamond Moms, they kind of get a handle on that, which is good. Right across the league, but we'll stick with the Bulls. It's very important that the Little League gets a spotlight on it, at least for one night a year. I know we have Little League Team of the Night and everything else, but for one night a year, why is it important that the Bulls have this Little League night on a yearly basis?
Well, it's important to partner with all of our baseball partners, and no bigger one than Little League. They've been, in fact, in the conference in Calgary, we were talking about that it's the 75th year of Little League Baseball here in Lethbridge and Alberta, coming up in 2027. And that just shows the longevity of the program and the historical people that have come through the program and gone on to other levels of baseball, and both in the city and beyond. And it just is it's a great community program that welcomes every kid into the program, and regardless of ability, regardless of anything else going on in their life, Little League is there for them.
And you've been around baseball a long time, going back to the Fort McLeod days. That always rears its ugly head somehow here on the Bullhorn. But Little League baseball remains such a critical foundation, not just for kids in general, but for baseball in general, right across the board. What's the meaning of Little League to you?
You know, I think I referenced it in the last thing. I mean, it's about the community. It's about the kids out and having a great time. Also there is no bigger youth sports event in the world than the Little League World Series. You know, and I've been honored to have been able to go to that Little League World Series numerous times over the years, and it still is a special event that you get to go and witness some of the best 11 and 12-year-olds play baseball. And, you know, what a dream it is for every 11 or 12-year-old that's a baseball enthusiast out on the field playing, to have that dream at the end of the season to try to get to that ultimate pinnacle on the mountain. I thought about it, every Little Leaguer, in addition to having the dream of getting to Williamsport, they have the dream of getting to the major leagues. And we don't want to take those dreams away from them. The major league dream is there until they've exhausted their teenage and their college careers. If they get that far, the Little League dream, may not be as tough to get to, or maybe it's tougher to get to than that major league dream. But it's about the event itself. And we had a district meeting here last week, and one of the presidents of the league said to me that it's a magical dream that they have with the Little League World Series, and he's correct. I mean, let's embrace that for every 11 and 12-year-old, and we want more of them to have that opportunity. And boy, what a place it's going to be next summer here in Lethbridge with the Little League Canadian Championship here, and we're going to send one team on to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, right out of Lethbridge, Alberta.
Yeah,
hopefully it's the host team.
I was fortunate enough last year in Victoria to do the final game, and once the kids were very businesslike as 11, 12-year-olds can be, but they're the team from Vancouver. They were very stoic, but when it come time to when they won, the kid was looking around to see if he was allowed to celebrate. And because the coach was a very regimented, I said, "You're going to Williamsport, man. You can celebrate." And so the kid threw his glove up in the air. And I've never seen anything quite like it. And it was heartbreaking for the one side, but the kids that were getting to go, it was obviously a major thrill of mine just to see that excitement. With the Bulls and the players, especially we got like a local kids playing, and then like we had the Haney guys on here a few weeks back. They were talking about giving back to the community and how the Lethbridge Bulls and how they do that. And when they were kids, they were the ones hanging over the fence, breaking the rails and stuff. But they were the ones hanging over the fence, looking for autographs, and having the kids having something to look up to in the community with Lethbridge Bulls got to be it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, we try to get our players out into the community as much as possible. It is a busy schedule. 56 games in just about 70 days. Is they're playing every day, and half of those are on the road. So, then they need a little bit of downtime too, just to rejuvenate themselves. So, it's a tough grind for them during the summer. It's a fun grind, I think, for them as well. But, I do think they really enjoy, meeting the kids after the games or before the games, when we can fit it in, and going out to their events. I know we did a video last year on the Challenger baseball, another cornerstone of Little League, and the players had a blast with those kids, and just did a video, and I think a few water balloons got swung and broken and things like that. So I like to see our players out in the community, and I think that they represent us well.
Well, I think it's great for them because they're signing autographs probably the first time in their lives. A lot of these guys who are playing, because they play in front of friends and parents down in their colleges, not many other people. So when they get the kids around signing autographs, and the kids are standing beside them for the national anthem, they feel like big leaguers for that moment throughout the summer. So I think it's a win-win for both sides. Like on the other side, it's important for kids to have role models and something to look up to a little bit different. And Little League, and not just Little League, but kids in general. And I think the Bulls do a pretty good job of making these guys available and players. How important is it for the Bulls players to be role models per se, without saying they're not being the Charles Barkley? I'm not a role model from back in the 90s, but it's with all this going on in the world, having a role model to look up to for a summer is probably a pretty important thing.
Yeah, I mean, all of our programs, whether it's Bulls, PBA, our junior academy teams and all that, Little League especially, and our values are triggered off of Little League. I mean, they've evolved over the years. It used to be character, strength, loyalty. Now it's getting more, and those still are there, but community is also important. And the community is important to all of our programs here in the city. And, the Bulls have to, when they come in, that's part of their responsibility, is to being an upstanding role model for the youth in the community. And I think our youth appreciate that, and the parents, I'm sure, appreciate the fact that the majority of our players have been that.
The last couple of weeks we've been talking about bringing the youth into the stadium, and the schools out game is about 93% sold out, I think, at this point for what we decide to cap it at. We'll if we got to get more people in, we'll find a way to shoehorn some more people in here. But from an organizational standpoint, how does investing in Little League and the youth grow the future Bulls fan base?
Whether we talked about the Little League World Series, only one team in Canada is going to go to the Little League World Series every year. That's 12 players. So it is a lofty dream. The percentage of players that can make Major League Baseball is a lower percentage than that. And, if the major leaguers are in a Yankee Stadium or Rogers Center or wherever else you want to play, if there's not baseball fans in there, Major League Baseball wouldn't exist.
That's a very good point. It is a business, no matter what. That's true.
And fortunately, not only the players that made the Little League World Series are Major League Baseball or baseball fans. Fortunately, we're grooming those baseball fans out of the love of the game, and our players being out in the community, and they appreciate baseball and have a love of that game. And that they may end up going on and coaching, and helping T-ballers. They may go in and help run tournaments. They may go and be an umpire. They may go and just be a fan. And baseball can transcend, and that's why Little League is so important to be open to all the kids and to continue to espouse the values that Little League has stood for since it was founded in 1939 in Williamsport.
You just spoke of all the different ways a guy can stay in the game, or a girl can stay in the game. And I had Ian Wilson on from Alberta Douglas Stories on just a little bit earlier on in the show here. And I should have asked him, now that I think about it, that because his luck, he's a baseball dork. Like he is. He's a baseball guy. And I should have asked him, like, did you get into writing and being a sports guy because he was with the Calgary Sun because he wasn't very good and he found a way to worm his way and stay in the game? I just like because there's so many ways you can stay in this game, and like you said, with umpiring and with writing and social media and there's so many different ways. That we have the PBA banquet this weekend. There's guys who parlayed into a baseball career off the field. As well. There's so many different ways you can stay on the field that when you get into a young age, you just kind of fall in love with the game and you can stay with it for a long time.
Well, I referenced it on the weekend. You were encouraging people to tell some Little League stories in the weekend, like, what memories do you have? And I started thinking about that, and, there's lots that come to mind, but, I wasn't a great baseball player back in the day, and we didn't have a lot of opportunities out in Fort McLeod to advance through a ladder like there is now.
Yeah.
So many more opportunities nowadays than there was back then. And, I remember that, I was, kind of down that we didn't have a team to play on when I was in my early teens. And I remember that Jerry Cote, teacher out in Fort McLeod, and was the president of the minor baseball out there, and I was friends with his son, and he said to me, "Well, why don't you come out and help run a tournament?" And so I announced some games and did this, and kind of fell in love with it, and carried on, and then the rest is, as they say, history, and that is exactly I fell in love with the game because of other things. It wasn't the playing of it. It was just the game itself. It was such an enjoyable game to watch and be part of.
Yeah, you can only play so long, and even the major leaguers only play so long. You got to find a way to stay in the game. You brought up Save-On Foods, the partnership the Bulls have with them. Title sponsor for Little League Night, obviously. How important, not just with Save-On Foods, but partners like that to the Bulls and the community in general?
The Bulls wouldn't be here without our community partners. Whether it's long-time ones, like I think you had two guys on recently, and we need to get Gas King on, and our home opener sponsor Wesco, and I'm not going to list all 72 of them here right now, but we appreciate each and every one of those 70 some sponsors that we have, and we're hoping to grow that list into the 80s and 90s this year. So without them, we don't have a product to put on the field, because the ticket sales at the gate are a good portion of our operation, but we don't do it without sponsors. And we need those sponsors we need to connect those sponsors to other parts of our operation. And, what better way to do it is through a game sponsor, and for Save On, families and that need to buy groceries and need to be in the community with all those families around. And what better way to capture them is to show their support of Little League Night and all the Little Leaguer families that come out to the evening.
How they help out with the billet cards, with Save On Foods, and everything else. It really comes in handy. It helps out the team for sure.
I don't even know if people realize how much they're involved behind the scenes with the billet program in the city, and have been part of that for over a decade now.
Yeah, because I think people do know that these boys can eat a little bit, so Save On coming in probably saves a few bucks for sure. It's a great thing. Little League Night. Let's go to that night. Why should not only just the Little League team sign up for in the city, District 1 Little League and cross, but why should families come out to this Little League Night and make it an annual event, not just for Little League players, but the families in general?
Spitz Stadium is going to be it's always been, but we're putting more attention on it this year. Fan-friendly, fun place to be at, and there's going to be contests and activities, around the game, and there's going to be a great atmosphere at the game, and the team is going to put on a good show, and it's I think that night's against the Gulls, and they're becoming another hated rival of the Bulls, so on the field. So it's going to be a great battle, and going to be a super night at Spitz Stadium to come out and enjoy some baseball and have some fun.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite nights. Kevin, thank you very much for joining us on Kevin's Corner, the Bullhorn, the Lethbridge Bulls baseball report, and we'll do it again in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Brent.
All right, thanks, Kevin. You're watching the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls baseball report on Rogers TV and up on the Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel. Kevin, a bit of a segue last segment when we got done Kevin's Corner talking about fledgling reporters and kids getting into sports in one way or another. And today we're bringing up the Bulls Junior Reporter segment of the Bullhorn for the foreseeable future on the show and then during the Bull season.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the young kids come up and interview some of our people, like this gentleman beside me, our assistant coach Carlin Dick. I think they'll have some fun with it. Hopefully they can ask some provocative questions and dig in a little bit to the Lethbridge Bulls behind the scenes as junior reporters. I think they'll have fun with it, and we're excited to get the kids out in front of the public that want to try out to be a Bullhorn reporter.
We got a couple of brothers starting off. Briggs and Cash going to help us out with the first Bullhorn. Some very getting Carlin's mind thinking a little bit. I think I'm not worried about the kids as much as I'm worried about Carlin.
Carlin never has trouble talking, so he'll be fine. He'll hopefully the kids will be able to get some words in.
No, this is a good way to get kids engaged, like we talked about earlier with Little League and Little League World Series, and then into talking about.
So, did we decide how they could become a Junior Bulls reporter?
It's up on the bullsbaseball.com. It's there, and we put it up on social media so that they just get a hold of customer.service at unlights.com or at .ca, and then they can get in, and they get a lanyard, a T-shirt, and then just to get to be on the Bullhorn. So it should be a lot of fun with these young kids.
Yeah. So hopefully we see lots of applicants to get on here, and we'll keep seeing new kids come by stadium, which is always a great time to have young ones come in and see what's behind the scenes of the Lethbridge Bulls.
Yeah, a lot of them don't get to see the inner workings inside the Bulls locker room where we have the studio set up. So it should be a lot of fun for these kids throughout the season. Without any further ado, here is our first two. Sorry,
we'll take a break to get so we can get out of this. I'm not even going to be in this. I'm letting Carlin and the kids deal with it.
We're going to step out of here so Carlin can get a drink of water before Briggs and Cash take over. You're watching the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls baseball report on Rogers TV and the Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel.
Hi, I'm today's Lethbridge Bulls junior reporter, Cash Parker. I'm going to be interviewing Lethbridge Bulls assistant coach Carlin Dick for the Bullhorn, the Lethbridge Bulls baseball report. What's your favorite part about being a coach with the Lethbridge Bulls?
Ooh, my favorite part this year is going to be able to coach my brother. But I just like being around the guys in the locker room and around the other coaches and spending some quality time with them.
Nice. Who's your favorite baseball player when you were a kid?
Bryce Harper.
Nice. What's one thing players should always do to be a great teammate?
Always keep a positive outlook no matter how things are going for you.
What's the funniest or weirdest thing you've ever seen in a baseball game?
Well, funny you say that. I was a part of a baseball game where the final score was 31-27. Would you believe that? That happened in Brooks, Alberta. So that's probably the weirdest thing. 31-27, so 58 runs scored in a game.
That's crazy. What's one piece of advice you'd give kids who want to play baseball someday?
My best piece of advice is to have fun playing baseball, because sometimes it can be not so fun when you get older. So when you're a kid, have as much fun as you can.
Okay. Hot dog or hamburger at the ballpark?
Hot
and
dog.
What toppings?
Oh, hot dog, mustard, ketchup.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you, Carlin, for joining me in the Bullhorn and the Lethbridge Bulls baseball report.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm today's Lethbridge Bulls junior reporter, Briggs Parker, and I am going to interview Lethbridge Bulls assistant coach Carlin Dick on the Bullhorn, the Lethbridge Bulls baseball report. What does an assistant coach actually do during a game that fans might not notice?
What do they do during the game that fans might not notice? We call the bullpen sometimes. We use that phone in the dugout that they can't see. We act like we're doing something when we're standing at coach first base. Those are the two main ones. Fans see the second one, though.
What's your favorite part about working with Bulls players every summer?
My favorite part is getting to know new players because they come from all over the United States and Canada. So I get to meet some new kids every year, and I get to work with some kids that I already knew. So it's a good balance.
What's one thing you always tell players when they're having a tough game?
When they're having a tough game, I tell them to smile because there's another one tomorrow. Play lots of games in the summer.
If you could give one baseball tip to kids watching a Spitz Stadium, what would it be?
One baseball tip for kids watching at Spitz. Get really good at catching the ball. There's foul balls coming your way all the time.
What's the best thing? What's the best thing about coaching in front of Bulls fans? Do you have a favorite moment from being on the field with the Bulls so far?
My favorite was probably Canada Day last year. Get to see a lot of familiar faces and new people, and the stands are packed, and there's a lot of good energy. We love when the stands are full. Bulls fans.
Fun one. If you weren't coaching baseball, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
Trying to become a professional golfer.
Thank you, Carlin, for joining me on the Bullhorn, the Lethbridge Bulls baseball report.
Thanks, Cash. Well done. That was good. Good job.
Briggs.
Or Briggs. Thanks, Briggs. Sorry. Well done.
That's it for the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls baseball report up on Rogers TV and the Bulls, or the newly rebranded, it's so new, I forget what it is, the newly rebranded Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel. Thank you to Carlin, Cardell, Kevin, Ian, and our junior reporters of the week for joining us on the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls baseball report. We've got lots of stuff going on here at Spitz, getting prepared for the 2026 season. It's going to be unbelievable. Make sure you get your tickets now and don't miss out on any of the action coming up in the 2026 season down here at Spitz Stadium. Keep your horns up, and we will talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
For sponsorship opportunities with the Bulls, email partnerships@bullsbaseball.com. All Lethbridge Bulls home and away games can be seen live on Flow College. Are you a Bull-liever? Want to be part of the Bulls in 2026? We're now recruiting volunteers for media, game day ops, and more. Join the herd today.